This is a segment for all of our socialist friends out there. We have this story from Barron's.com. I love the name. Russia's swift exclusion could spur cyber attacks. 10 stocks that could benefit.
Oh my
That's an amazing headline if I've ever seen it. So let me break that down.
What were you saying about moral decay, Lauren?
Moral decay.
Yeah, exactly.
SWIFT is the international payment system. It's like the Society for Worldwide, international or something or whatever.
Financial transactions?
Yeah, there you go. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, let's make it up.
And it's the banking system. So they're slowly kicking out Russia's banks from SWIFT, which I believe could result in Russia being unleashed. They're already sanctioned. They're already in this position. And now you're saying, we're going to remove any leverage we have over you outright. Just get rid of it.
Just backing them into a corner, essentially.
Or unleashing them. Letting them off the hook. Letting them off the leash.
What's the quote? A man with nothing left to lose is a dangerous man.
Yes.
Something.
And so I believe, I said this before, that I think banning Russia from SWIFT would be a huge mistake because you're effectively escalating the conflict the most extreme way possible. Russia's now got no ties to these other countries or financial institutions. So if they nuke you, it won't affect them because you're now severed. You severed all those economic ties. Well, Barron's, excellent name, by the way, is saying you can benefit by, well, they're not saying you could. They're saying 10 stocks that could benefit. And they go on to list a bunch of companies like, hey, you know what they're saying. They're basically telling people without telling them directly, buy these stocks. War is good for profits. Yeah. Always a way to make money in the markets, I suppose.
And here I am trying to figure out what stocks they're telling me to buy.
Palantir.
Oh, of course, Palantir.
Yeah, they say Palo Alto Networks, Zscaler, CrowdStrike, Tenable Holdings, Verana Systems, Fortinet, Telos, Mandiant, Palantir, and CyberArk Software.
So is it ethical to make money off the decline?
Why wouldn't it be?
I don't even know what the word ethics means anymore. Can you define that for me?
I mean...
The set of principles and morals?
The set of, but I guess so much of that has become an individual thing rather than something we would all agree on.
Nice. Yeah, there's sociological ethics and then there's personal ethics.
This is a good question, though. Is it okay to profit off the decline of the United States?
I tweeted out that I bought a bunch of Russian vodka the other day before they banned it. And people were like, this is really unethical of you to go get embargoed products. Like, you want to make money off, and I'm like, well, you know what? It's not, I can't do anything to stop it.
I think that as a society, it's unethical not to profit off of the decline of nature. Like the destruction and creation of nature. If we're not trying to profit off of it, then we're not doing our system justice.
Well, what do you mean by the destruction of nature?
And I guess also define profit.
Oh, what if the profiting off it makes it worse, like accelerates it?
Well, yeah, definitely that's bad.
Yeah.
I guess hold on. Right. A lot of people are probably going to say not true. Rip off the Band-Aid or peel it slowly.
Yeah.
Rip it off, but rip it with the hair, not against the hair.
Have you seen that meme where it's like in the event of a nuclear strike, lay down, face towards the blast, and put your hands on your head. That way the blast hits your head sooner and you'll die faster.
Huh. Oh my goodness!
It's like it's like a dark meme.
Was it unethical for them to tell kids to duck and cover in the Cold War? Get under your desk, and then the nuclear blast, you might have some chance to survive, which
that's
they wouldn't,
true, though.
And they knew they wouldn't.
You're wrong.
No, yeah, it depends, depending on the distance.
Oh,
you
if
actually
the
can be
distance in an
shielded from
earthquake,
some of the
I see.
Yeah, the initial blast radius for a lot of nuclear bombs is not. It's not as wide as people think. They think it's like 30 miles. Mm-hmm. It's like a half mile maybe, which is massive. There was this thing I think the New York Times did where they showed an overlay of different nuclear bombs and how it would affect Manhattan. And it's like, yeah, from river to river, Manhattan is hit. So if you're in Jersey City and Manhattan gets hit by a nuke, you're not in the immediate blast or radiation zone, but you're going to get hit by the shock wave. So you see you duck and cover because glass and shards are going to go flying.
Do you guys have a bomb shelter?
No.
Just ready?
No, but
let's get the shovels.
None of you have bomb shelter. On Zillow, they were selling a warhead missile underground launch station. Did you see that? That was wild.
But you could.
It was like $300K.
Yeah, missile silos.
Get a missile silo.
So creepy.
You could, and they're really deep, and it's not even that expensive. Like you got to think about buying a house these days. The prices are going up. $300K. What is it, like 16 floors?
That's cheaper than a townhouse. Go live in a missile silo, guys.
I think was it Jake Paul or like Mr. Beast? They went to one of these emergency shelter nuclear silos.
That'd be fun.
And it's like you live underground for 30 years in the event of a nuclear strike or something.
But does it come with the missile is the real question.
I think they took the missile.
They
took it.
How can you still call it? It's just a silo then.
It's no longer a missile silo.
It's false advertising.
Just an empty silo.
Well, I can tell you this. I don't think it's wrong to profit necessarily. It depends on how you look at it. But I'll say since all of this stuff has been happening and getting crazier, I've certainly bought stuff that I think is going to help me. I've bought, we've got bug out kits, we've gotten emergency food. That's just like, I would like to survive if bad stuff happens. But I've bought silver and gold. Yeah. I've bought Bitcoin, and Bitcoin just went up quite a bit. So as soon as they were talking about banning Russia from SWIFT, I was like, I better buy more Bitcoin.
When I learned about...
Well, so real quick, because if Russia is kicked off of SWIFT, they're going to have to replace their international transactions with some kind of infrastructure, and Bitcoin is essentially free infrastructure. They still have to build some Russian-specific, hubs and stuff. So then I thought, why would they use anything but Bitcoin? If they've already got a bunch, if it already exists, and it's already connected internationally, you're effectively telling them to go on this decentralized shadow network instead of the government-controlled one. They're going to be like, fine. I thought Bitcoin's going to skyrocket because of this. But more importantly, I don't want to be holding U.S. dollars. Yeah. Let me just tell you, man, that beer you got there, Old 690, it's a great place.
Gone.
Prices, well, yeah, for sure. They're a local brewery, and their prices went up. And I noticed, like, maybe we bought more, I don't know, but it was more expensive than a couple months ago when we bought it. And it's probably inflation.
Yeah.
We went to go buy some whiskey from the liquor store. We get the good stuff. The price doubled.
That's the trifecta. We've got the pandemic, we've got the Russia-phobia of the Cold War, but now we got to get the economic crash.
The 80s gas shortage and hyperinflation.
We got to get the hyperinflation, the wheelbarrows of cash.
When it was 2006, 7, 8 when I first learned about the military economic order, basically I was like, well, I can't profit off this in good conscience. So I stopped making money completely. I was totally poor for like a decade. Lived in not abject poverty, but pretty close to like living in my car kind of poverty, because I just did not want to profit off the system. But it was to the point where I was destroying myself. Like I couldn't participate and help the system. And I realized if you want to untangle a ball of yarn, first you need to get a hold of the ball of yarn. I need to be rich to fix this system from the inside.
Totally.
So I am profiting off of this unethical treatment of our slaves in Uyghur, China, and things like that.
Rich is probably the wrong word. You need to command influence.
Yeah,
that's true, because one of the greatest things money gets you is influence. And that's what a lot of these rich people want to do, is buy a YouTuber and speak their words for them.
That's actually, I think, a contradictory statement. And money doesn't buy you influence. You can try to buy influence, Michael Bloomberg. Yeah. That guy dumped a lot of money into this show.
He had a diminishing return on his investment.
No, it's because his ideas are garbage.
That's true.
So he dumped $500 million. Yeah. So people were saying it was really funny. They were like, Tim, you did a video ragging on Michael Bloomberg and a Bloomberg attitude. And I was like, I would like to thank Michael Bloomberg for sponsoring a video where I rag on him for 20 minutes.
We did a cartoon about this when the Bloomberg advertisements were everywhere, just ripping on the Bloomberg advertisements. If you all want to check that out. And people were commenting like, oh, I got a Bloomberg advertisement before this. Of course.
Because he's trying to counter that messaging from you, but it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. No, it makes my video funnier.
Yeah.
Yeah, so look, there's a really funny story I read once from BuzzFeed. Maybe I shouldn't say it's funny, but there's this YouTuber who had 300K subscribers and was working as a waitress. And she said one day a little girl was like, oh my God, you're so-and-so. Why are you working as a waitress? And she was like, oh, I just, it's a job. And then she went in the back and cried. Because like she's famous but broke. Yeah. And it's like, yes, you can have a lot of influence and no money. Well, influence is more valuable in a lot of ways.
And depending on the type of influence you're trying to do, if you're trying to threaten systems that do have more money than you, there is a cutoff point for how influential you're going to be. Because if you don't have any money to fight back what these people are going to do to you, they will steamroll you. The rich can absolutely squash the poor in anything. This is why the press focus on YouTubers when they slander people. You'll have someone. Who's the guy from Braveheart? I can't remember.
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
This beer hit hard.
Yeah.
He'll literally call Jews oven dodgers, and you'll get plenty of articles from mainstream media that are like Mel Gibson on a fancy vacation at this show, at that show. But a YouTuber will say one off-color word, like they'll say retard once or something, and that'll get a whole article in all these different outlets. They'll only be referred to as extremist, right-wing, this, that, because they know they can get away with it because Mel Gibson can afford massive amounts of lawyers and representative, whereas YouTubers don't really have that pull.
I think we've got with Kyle Rittenhouse's, he's going to do those.
Yeah, but
those
he's
lawsuits.
he's going to be bankrolled.
No, for sure. But I'm saying him and Project Veritas, I think, are going to help change that game.
But they're still they've hit that threshold of the amount of money you have to be able to fight back against the elites. Because if you are just small, if you're someone, I mean, Tommy Robinson had money, but you can just send someone to jail. Bam,
or you can block the crowd
you can afford
funds.
a lawyer. Yeah,
if they know you're threatening, the idea is to change the system without them realizing that it's like Uber appeared and it was a threat to the taxi system, but they didn't realize it till Uber was prevalent.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, Tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.